Zimbabwe, a magical land locked into the heart of Africa and bordered by Zambia, Malawi, Mozambique, Botswana, and South Africa. A country of magnificent natural beauty, from the unique cataracts of the Victoria Falls to the majestic mountains of the Eastern Highlands. And from the game-filled shores of the Matusa-Donna National Park to the prehistoric cliffs of the Gonarezo. A country steeped in age-old cultures and traditions, within a community life that captures the rhythmic beat of Zimbabwe's warm and friendly heart. But what gives this country its unique fascination? Let's travel around and discover firsthand the magic that is Zimbabwe. Sunrise on the Zambezi River. Situated on the northwest borders of the country at an altitude of 880 meters, the Victoria Falls is one of the 7 natural wonders of the world, and one of the main reasons why tourists come to Zimbabwe. The mighty Victoria Falls, the smoke that thunders. Carved out of the Great Zambezi River, 4th longest in Africa, and the only great African river to flow towards the east coast, the falls are almost too beautiful to paint in mere words. Livingstone, totally amazed by his first sight of the falls, said of them, "Scenes so lovely must have been gazed upon by angels in their flight." The falls are situated approximately halfway between the Zambezi source in northwest Zambia to its final outflow at the Indian Ocean near Chinde in Mozambique. The Victoria Falls plunge headlong 106 meters into a vertical chasm that spans the river's full 1.6 kilometer width. And the force of the falling water, some 545 million liters a minute in full flood season, sends clouds of spray spinning high into the air, often reaching heights of 500 meters. It is these clouds which give rise to the poetic local name of the falls, Musi Owatunya, the smoke that thunders. An apt description indeed. What goes up must come down, and the falling spray rains down on the surrounding vegetation along the lip of the falls, creating a lush subtropical forest, popularly called the rainforest, and consisting mainly of ebony, fig, and mahogany trees, but also containing some rare flora, to say nothing of birds, small buck, and an army of monkeys. There are 5 separate falls within this natural wonder: the Devil's Cataract, the main falls, the Horseshoe Falls, the Rainbow Falls, and the Eastern Cataract. And these range between 61 and 108 meters in height, and collectively are twice as high as Canada's Niagara Falls, and 1.5 times as long. Geologists set the age of the falls at 150 million years, and since the river is gradually eroding backwards, the present lip is in fact the 8th since the waterfalls originated, with the next fold clearly visible in the riverbed above the main drop. However, that could take between 3 and 5 million years to reach. The Victoria Falls was so named by the 19th century explorer Dr. David Livingstone in honor of his queen, when on November the 16th, 1855, he saw the falls for the first time. A splendid bronze statue of Livingstone himself has been erected to mark that occasion. Victoria Falls might have remained a beautiful but inaccessible natural spectacular had not Cecil John Rhodes decided that a Cape to Cairo railway was necessary to maximize development of trade between Africa and the rest of the world. Although his dream never progressed further than Zaire, the railway and the spanning of the Zambezi with its magnificent bridge opened up the area and set the wheels of international trade and tourism in motion. As a result, thousands of visitors come to Zimbabwe every year from all parts of the world to gaze at this magnificent marvel of nature. The bridge, completed in 1905 at a cost of £144,000, is 202 meters long with a main arch span of 152 meters and stands 90 meters above the sinister whirlpool called the Boiling Pot, a place specially chosen by Rhodes so that travelers might feel the cooling spray on their faces as they crossed from Zimbabwe to Zambia. Today, the falls are still unspoilt by commercialism, and the whole area has been left as natural as possible. With each turn of the path, another beautiful aspect of the falls is revealed. And Danger Point offers a magnificently different view of the gorge, falls and spray. The steep, slippery climb 100 meters down into the gorge below the Devil's Cataract is well worth the effort to view the foaming waters thundering down from above. There are many ways of viewing the falls: on foot, by bus, and by organized tours. You can even hire a bicycle if you want. Or you might like to make the breathtaking flight of angels by plane or helicopter. Nothing can really describe the wonderful feeling as you hover and soar over those massive, roaring waters. effort of getting up at 4:30 in the morning is amply rewarded with a glass of champagne to toast the new day. And the tasty breakfast to tempt the taste buds before your long golden day in the sun. As the sun goes down, you can enjoy an evening cruise up the Zambezi River. And who knows what game you might see as you raise a glass to the Zimbabwean sunset. Now let's take a closer look at the Victoria Falls community. Victoria Falls town was created in 1901 when the possibility of using the roaring waters for a hydroelectric power scheme was being considered, and later because of the building of the bridge. In fact, Victoria Falls Hotel began as accommodation for the bridge construction workers, with the first two modest buildings being old railway sheds, hastily transported up the line from Beira. The eventual dining room was a locomotive shed from Mafeking railway station. There is no doubt that the Victoria Falls Hotel yardsticks the development of the town, with the shacks blossoming into honeymoon cottages, and finally into the building of great beauty and fine proportions that we see today. An interesting feature in the quiet inner courtyard is the old trolley car, a single relic of the transport used right up to the early 1950s to carry visitors from the hotel to the falls. It was most popular, and as many as 1 million people enjoyed this exciting trip. A unique and very special feature of the Falls Hotel today is the African Spectacular, held every evening on the wide patio overlooking the falls. Nearby, the Makaza sun offers a more materialistic thrill with the click of the chips on green bays and the perpetual excitement of the fruit machines. Hotels, each with their own personality and charm, offer a wide range of accommodation. In addition, there are 2 camp and caravan sites, and backpackers are well catered for too. Not far from the Victoria Falls, on the banks of the Msuwi River, a new facility is available for those who want to come into close contact with nature, but still have their creature comforts. Tent under thatch, set in a wilderness area where wildlife abounds and Africa becomes a vivid reality. But let's take a closer look at the main reason why the Victoria Falls area opened up, the railway. Today, steam trains still huff and puff their way into the neat little station, which looks much the same as it did in 1913 when 5 excursion trains a year brought a wide spectrum of tourists. Film stars and royalty came to see the amazing falls, with the British royal family paying a visit in 1947. In the early part of the century, the railway lines set off from Cape Town, and the potential prospects and opportunities of the railhead at the falls encouraged people to come and settle there. Hunters, adventurers, and traders like Percy Clark, affectionately called Mapani Clark, whose colourful personality won him the title of leader in the small community. Opening the first curio shop in town, Percy was a man of many talents and was an outstanding photographer. To him we owe the fine photographic records of the falls and the surrounding areas, taken at the turn of the century, including the building of that famous bridge. In those days it was a toll bridge, and Jack Soper, who arrived in 1905 to work as a bridge toll keeper, opened up a second curio shop. He was also known as the Crocodile King, because he started the first crocodile farm in that area. The first Victoria Falls hotel manager, Pierre Gavuzzi, was a highly excitable man who mysteriously left the luxury of the Carlton and the Savoy hotels in London for a tin shack in Africa. Today, it is perhaps Odwell, the hotel commissionaire, with his armour of badges presented to him by tourists from all over the world, who was remembered by every visitor for his smiling.
Welcome to Victoria Falls Hotel. My name is Odwell. How are you, madam?
Very well, thank you.
We thank you for coming.
In 1948, a Solent flying boat service carrying 40 passengers and 8 crew was brought into regular use, taking several days to fly from Southampton via Sicily, Luxor, Kampala and Lake Malawi, touching down on the smooth upper reaches of the Zambezi River at Victoria Falls, before taking off for its final destination, Hartbeespoort Dam in South Africa. Now the falls are easily accessible from all over the world, by road, rail and air. But somehow that original and essential quality that is Victoria Falls has never changed. And perhaps this is one of the most enjoyable memories taken away by tourists. But the Victoria Falls holds many other attractions, and a visit to the Victoria Falls National Parks allows close contact with elephant and many other creatures of the wilds. Visitors never fail to capture some wonderful photographic memories. Most visitors view the game from bus or Land Rover, but for the adventurous, a walking safari adds an extra dimension of excitement to the holiday. The big tree, a giant baobab 20 meters high and 16 meters round, is said to be around 1,500 years old. The crocodile farm, with some 2,000 live reptiles, is a must. Particularly if you want an opportunity to actually hold a crocodile. Well, perhaps a very small one. The traditional village gives an accurate insight into the village life of the 6 main Zimbabwean tribes. And if you are lucky, the Nganga, often incorrectly called the witch doctor, will throw the bones, and who knows what fortune he will predict for you. An evening watching the authentic theatre and dance of the traditional village will take you right into the heart of magical Africa, a rich experience never to be forgotten. There are many ways of relaxing at the falls, in between sightseeing. For instance, an exciting game of golf on the newest course in Zimbabwe, the Elephant Hills. And who knows who or what you might meet on the 7th green. Swimming, catching a tan, fishing, and at night a meal under the stars, dancing to the rhythmic beat of the marimba band. One of the special thrills that has captured the imagination of so many young and not so young visitors is the excitement of whitewater rafting. Climbing down the steep gorge is all part of the adventure. Riding the rapids is something to be remembered for a lifetime. Climbing up out of the gorge after the ride has its compensations. Canoeing or kayaking is a slightly more sedate way of experiencing the Great Zambezi. And who could forget a night spent on the banks of the river, listening to the hippos honking and perhaps a lion's roar? Before you leave the falls, don't forget that Hwange National Park is less than 200 kilometers down the road. The biggest wildlife reserve in Zimbabwe, filled with a wide diversity of game. There is something very special about the mighty Victoria Falls and all the other fascinating features that make up the rich tapestry that portrays this unique and beautiful wonder of the world. What is it? Is it the game? Is it the mighty falls themselves? The water adventures? The rose-colored days and the fun-filled nights? Or could it be the warm and sunny welcome? Who knows? Who cares? Because you never quite forget a visit to the Victoria Falls, and you will always want to return.
Zimbabwe, a magical land locked into the heart of Africa and bordered by Zambia, Mozambique, Botswana, and South Africa. A country of magnificent natural beauty, from the mighty Victoria Falls to the majestic mountains of the Eastern Highlands. And from the game-filled shores of the Matusadona National Park to the prehistoric cliffs of the Gono-Rijol. A country steeped in age-old cultures and traditions, within a community life that captures the rhythmic beat of Zimbabwe's warm and friendly heart. But what gives this country its unique fascination? Let's travel around and discover firsthand the magic that is Zimbabwe. The wide national roads loop their way through the fertile farmlands of Darwindale and Trelawney, over the Great Dyke, longest natural dike in the world. Past Chinoi, Lion's Den, and Karoi to Makuti, gateway to the Zambezi Valley. The drop down the Zambezi escarpment is dramatic. Past wild and rocky bushlands, dotted with majestic baobab trees and areas of dense jungle. Then, suddenly, there it is, Lake Kariba, aquatic jewel of Africa. Formed from the great Zambezi River, which springs from the Mwinilungu district in northern Zambia and flows for 2,720 kilometers to the Indian Ocean. Kariba Dam is approximately 400 kilometers in a direct line from the mighty Victoria Falls. And the lake it now impounds supports people, animals, and the very bush itself with life-giving waters. Let's spend some time exploring this great lake and the area around it, and discover for ourselves all that it has to offer. The word Kariba comes from the word Kariwa, which in the local Shona language means a small trap. But there's nothing small about the 128-meter high dam wall which trapped the mighty Zambezi River. The building of the wall commenced in 1956, and the lake it formed was, at the time of its official opening by Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth the Queen Mother in 1960, the largest man-made lake in the world. The lake is 280 kilometers long and 30 kilometers wide at its widest point. It covers an area of approximately 5,100 square kilometers. The average depth of Lake Kariba is 18 meters, and the capacity of the lake, when full, is approximately 184,000 million cubic meters of water, which has been impounded largely for the production of electric power through massive underground generators.
Thank you very much.
While most visitors today see Kariba as a holiday center, in 1961, the idea of tourism was hardly even considered. There was no tourist accommodation, only dormitories for the workers, a few prefabricated managers' houses, and works offices. Building the dam in that difficult terrain had its problems, and during the incessant rains of 1958, the river flooded. The cofferdam was swept away, access bridges fell, and vital equipment was submerged. Indeed, the mighty forces of nature were seen in all their fearsome grandeur. The local people at that time believed that the river god Nyami Nyami was angry at this arbitrary harnessing of the waters. Today, however, the development of industry and tourism have encouraged them to realize that in the lake that resulted from the damming, new livelihoods have opened up for them to show that man and nature can work together harmoniously for the benefit of both. Visitors who see wild animals come to the lake shores to drink would find it hard to visualize the dramatic problem created by the rising waters of the rapidly filling dam in the early 1960s. Thousands of wild animals were being trapped by the water on hills which had suddenly become islands in an unbelievable sea. A massive problem had reared its ugly head. Something had to be done, urgently. There was one person who rose magnificently to the occasion, Rupert Fothergill. Fothergill was a game warden who knew and loved the area. He also knew and loved the animals in his care. He was determined that as many animals as possible would be rescued. It was the how that was the problem. He began by gathering round him a team of game rangers who were prepared, as he was, to risk life and limb to save the precious wildlife. Between them, they collected a strange assortment of watercraft, from rafts to boats, and one large cabin cruiser, which was affectionately named the Ark. Slowly and laboriously, they went from island to island, coaxing, capturing, transporting, and releasing the stranded game as far from the lake shore as they could manage. Then they went back for more. Operation Noah, as it came to be called, was arduous and dangerous work. That they succeeded at all was due to Rupert Fothergill's total dedication and drive. When the task was done, it was estimated that they had rescued and relocated over 5,000 animals, including 50 black rhino. It was a superb example of animal conservation, which has never been exceeded. An early indication of the country's caring policy of wildlife conservation. It is largely due to that incredible rescue that such a broad range of wildlife can be seen both in and around Kariba today. A wonderful memorial to the man, Rupert Fothergill, whose love for animals took him far beyond the normal course of duty. This was where the original construction village was. It's hard to believe it now. Most of those early prefabricated houses, dormitories, and canteens have gone. Many new houses have been built as both holiday homes and residences. And there's now a well-planned administrative network of facilities. And yet, in some strange way, Kariba still retains its original pioneering charm. A special place to visit is the unusual Catholic Church of St. Barbara. It was built by the Italians who worked for Impricit, the largely Italian engineering company which constructed the dam. In many ways, it is a memorial to their work, but more particularly to the 86 who died during the construction. In various places in and around Kariba Township, you will come across some of the beautiful crochet work on display for visitors, and the intriguing carvings of Nyami Nyami, the river god. All of which make memorable and lasting souvenirs of your visit to Kariba. Kariba and the surrounding areas offer a wide selection of facilities and accommodation, catering for various expense levels, from the family-style hotel, such as these, to casita-type accommodation in the Sardinian style, with a casino. An unlicensed hotel in the Heights, to cottage-type accommodation. To the backpackers' camping paradise at Mapani Bay, where there are some beautiful Mapani-shaded camping and caravan sites. Each offers something a little different, whether it be cruise facilities, a casino, timeshare apartments, or excellent cuisine. All promise comfortable accommodation, entertainment, and every facility for enjoyment. Since Kariba is basically a holidaymaker's water playground, let's take a look at some of the many water attractions the lake holds for those who enjoy them. Skiing, comfortable cruising, fishing, one of the great sports at Kariba. Fishermen come from all over the world to Kariba to do battle with the fighting tigerfish. or the giant vundu, nearer the lake shores. Your tiger may not be up to the record 15 kilograms, but whatever you catch can be mounted for you by a local taxidermist as a lasting memento of your stay. The other side to fishing at Kariba is the enormously successful kapenta fishing industry. The sight of these strange little craft setting out to sea at sunset is one of the most memorable features of the whole Kariba scene. With their brilliant lights bobbing with the movement of the water. The lights are an essential part of their equipment, designed as they are to attract thousands of the highly nutritional sardine-like fish into the big round net at the stern. Boats of many different types and sizes are available for hire, with perhaps the most enjoyable and relaxing experiences being a few days and nights on a houseboat. These houseboats have their own power and can take their passengers to most parts of the lake, provided they stay within Zimbabwe's borders. It's a lovely life of leisurely travel, stopping where you please, enjoying close game viewing when wildlife come to drink along the shore, and never leaving your excellent accommodation. Unless it is that you wish to take a short trip on the motorized launch which comes with the houseboat. Useful for inshore fishing too. Drifting through the day, watching game by the waterside, and awed by the breathtaking sunsets, sundowner in hand, must be one of the best switch-off cures in the world. While on the water, you may come upon a flotilla of sailing boats making their silent, leisurely way across the lake in formation. Flotilla sailing is an increasingly popular way of cruising, but very different and relaxing. Experience is not important, as instruction is given before setting out. The stable vessels are not difficult to sail, and many are those who come back for more. Another unique aquatic adventure on Kariba is the lake ferry. There are two ferries which ply regularly between Kariba and Milabisi at the far western end of the lake. Sea Lion, the larger of the two with accommodation for 15 cars, and Sea Horse, smaller with room for only 8 cars, but each with the same high standard of passenger facilities and service. On much of the Kariba Milibisi run, a lot of game can be seen near the lake shores, and even on some of the islands. The ferry frequently stops for a few minutes at Bumi Hills Safari Lodge. Bumi Hills is one of the great hotels in the Kariba story. Situated on the magnificent hilly shoreline that gives it its name, Bumi Hills offers a unique opportunity to stay in a superb hotel and yet enjoy the wild areas of Africa. Bumi enjoys an exceptional game population, and you can view the game from the comfort of the hotel. Another exciting adventure area, only 14 kilometers by boat from Bumi, is the water wilderness in its natural setting of wild beauty. With all the ingredients of an enchanted island. The trumpeting of elephants and the occasional lion's roar is the exciting accompaniment to your stay in the comfort of your very own houseboat. But a closer and even more memorable experience comes with a day's walking safari into the nearby Matusadona National Park, conducted, of course, by trained guides. As always with Kariba, fish eagles are a perpetual presence, perched in the bare branches of petrified trees, or involved in the constant search for fish, in competition with myriads of cormorants and other water birds. Another experience of Africa in the raw would be an overland trip to Mola village, situated in the remote foothills of the massive Zambezi escarpment. Here, Chief Mola and his community of 10,000 Tonga people maintain a happy and traditional way of life. Another interesting part of the Kariba adventure is the crocodile farm, where these dangerous reptiles are bred in captivity both for conservation and for their skins, which are now highly valuable commercially. They grow from these little fellows to great big chaps like these. Because of the proliferation of game in the area, safari operations are common and vary in expense and in type. This is a walking safari, accompanied by an experienced guide. Big game hunting is also catered for with a wide variety of tariffs, depending on what is shot. Even hunting takes conservation into consideration, and there are severe restrictions on how many of certain types of game can be shot. The more restricted the animal, the more expensive it is to shoot. Much of the income is spent improving the life of the local people. Two superb safari operations are centered on two lovely islands on the lake, Spurwing and Fothergill. Spurwing was the brainchild of another of Kariba's great personalities, Jeff Stutchbury. Stutchbury's name ranks alongside Rupert Fothergill's, after whom Fothergill Island is named. Both islands offer superb accommodation and wonderful game experiences. What could be more exciting than the stillness of a starry night in which you can hear all the night cries of Africa while enjoying the finest accommodation and services and the congenial company of other animal lovers alongside. Alas, all good things come to an end. Kariba is a difficult place to leave, but it is totally unforgettable. A colorful backcloth of Africa, lightened and warmed by a predictable sun, and cooled by the fresh breezes that can bring a chop to the still waters at times. You will never forget the shrill cry of the fish eagle as it swoops to snatch its prey from just beneath the surface. But perhaps your most lasting memory of Kariba will be the final magnificent sunset as it flares and dies over the shimmering waters. A glorious and fitting finale to an African dream.